How to not be lonely, or how to make someone see worth in you so much so that he stays or she stays and witnesses your life. The need to have someone witness your existence or your decisions is the need to have company. The need to constantly have a person that is not you to fill up the space that surrounds you with constant chirps is the need to not be lonely. But really, will that fill that void in your heart that you feel when even some hours are assigned to your name in your own company, where you're not allowed to talk to someone, busy yourself with entertainment or any of the menial daily tasks, just to sit with yourself, close your eyes, and meditate on the fact that you are alone right now and probably for the entire day? Will that not eat away or have you fear what you're missing out? The reason I coined this is because the true sense of loneliness comes when opinions don't match. When amidst of fight, you can't convince the other person to think like you. Because that is when you stop and ask yourself, am I the only one who feels this way? Not just in fights, but in life decisions where you're trying to convince people that you value to value the same things as you, which they probably can't or won't because most of the times they have more power over you than you have over them. That's why you're trying to convince them to begin with. Otherwise, you would have just done what you wanted to do in the first place. But that's funny because even though you might think otherwise in the moment, whenever you're debating, fighting with people that you love or value, most of the times when you think that am I the only person who feels this way, the person that you're up against most likely feels the same thing. And that's why it's absurd. That's why it's funny. Because we are so lonely yet we are so alike and so together in the way that we all individually feel so. But take a minute. As Buddha famously said, don't believe. Close your eyes and ask yourself, being alone and lonely, is that really what we are up against? Or is it the feeling that we are trying to associate with being alone and, well, being lonely? What a sad thing to be. Or is it? One comes alone and one goes alone. Existence is lonely. What one dies for, what one lives for, it is really difficult to convince everyone why one does what one does. And usually, doing what you want to do comes with the cost of abandoning company of people that do not think like you. Always expecting people to gather around you and agree to things that you say or do sets one back to a place where he will do what has already been done, because people will not agree to something that is unfamiliar, that has not been done before. People don't like change. And when you put them in a position to agree or disagree to things that you do, you are putting yourself in a place where you won't do things that are different. Path to greatness is lonely. You will find like-minded people. It is inevitable. There are so many people, and there exists something called collective unconsciousness. It will happen eventually, but seeking that is not something we are after. In fact, finding like-minded people should come as a pleasant surprise that, oh, our paths crossed. But it should not come with attachment that now I will stay and value this thing that we have like-minded opinions about something, because people change. Do not latch on to a connection because humans falter. What they are today might not be what they will be 2 months from now. That is why I say existence is lonely. Oh, then, how do we stay alone? There are 4 parts to it. First, acceptance. One has to accept that thoughts might not match, time might not match, opinions might differ. And that is completely alright in the sense that everyone experiences this. Second is awareness. So when you feel the compulsion to connect to someone, not out of the fear, not out of the sheer act of curiosity of getting to know the other person, but out of a compulsion, out of a feeling to not be alone. That is when you need to be aware and you need to stop yourself from doing that and ask yourself, and convince yourself, and just try to reason yourself. There's this new idea that I'm trying to preach, where I'm practicing being okay with not wanting people. In fact, being okay with just being with by myself. So today, when I want to connect with someone, is it because I want to get to know them, I want to have a good time, or I just want to run away from a feeling where I just want someone to witness what I'm doing. Just want to have someone know and kind of agree to me, or just give me acceptance. It is your life, is it not? Why do you need acceptance? Seeking counsel is one thing. Seeking company to have fun is one thing. Wanting, needing company because you just can't stay alone with yourself is another. So there's a difference. So you should stop yourself, you should meditate on it, and you should try to make better decisions. Ask your compulsions, is there a better way to deal with what I'm feeling in the moment? Because I don't want to depend on someone else to make me feel something. Third is presence. Sometimes things will happen where you will feel support or love from other people, or acceptance of your ideals, of your opinions, but that is not a cue for you to sit and latch on to the feelings that you get in the situation, because these situations are fleeting, and the feelings that you get from them is like a drug to your ego, to your need to be accepted. And fourth is mistakes. You need to understand that mistakes will happen. It's human, it's inevitable. What you need to know, however, is that you don't need to be harsh on yourself or give yourself the chance now to abandon the journey that you were on in the first place. Because, well, mistake happened because you got too attached to the idea of you that will not make mistakes, that will not falter, but it is not true. Humans falter. What you are today, you will not be 2 months from now, because, well, you're on a journey, constant journey to evolve, to change, to adapt, to get to know yourself, to many a times, as I've got to know recently, unlearns part of you that latched onto you through your experiences. Practical tip of how to do this. On how to do this, you force yourself. Every day you wake up and you force yourself to stay alone. You start with some little by little, but then you start doing it more, and then even more than that, and then more than that, until staying alone becomes a habit. And then suddenly it will feel natural, not wanting someone to witness your existence, your every move, and basically give you permission to live. But then what? After you've done all this, then what? Well, it's a long path, but it will happen. And then suddenly, even now, you'll be asking yourself, and then that will make it even more lonely to live a life. That is the thing. Once you accept the basic foundation of something, once you learn what it is that it stands on, you can then go ahead to make a building on it. So mastering detachment or loneliness doesn't give you the permission to stay alone. One masters loneliness not to stay only in one's own company, but to navigate in a world that sometimes acts so selfish and might not act in the way that you want it to act, which can really hurt our sense of beings. That's why we are mastering art of loneliness, not so much to thrive in one's own company only, but not so much as a lifestyle, but as a safety net. After this you will find your relationships to be better, improve, not just with yourself but with others as well. No longer will you act on your attachment, but rather out of curiosity of the how the others live their life. Relationships free of attachment are non-vexing on heart and mind. In conclusion, be alright staying alone, but and after that, be around people because you choose to be in their company. And rejoice in the company of like minded people, not in the way to get attached, but to rejoice in the understanding that there exists more of you, people who share the same path, people who might share the same opinions. Namaste.